right, Mr. Jenkins here with lesson 4.4. So we're skipping 4.3. Just to recap kind of what we've covered, the first two lessons, 4.1 and 4.2, were all about graphing quadratic equations or quadratic functions. And now we're going to focus more on the algebraic aspects of quadratic expressions. So this is one of our biggest lessons really of the year. We'll cover factoring a whole bunch here. We'll review it a lot. We'll test over it. You'll see it come back in the DMR multiple times. So just kind of be ready for it. So first of all, what is factoring? It says it's a very useful algebra skill that we will use in nearly every chapter for the rest of this course. So you got to learn it. It's a way to undo the distributive property or FOIL process. Sometimes we say it's unfoiling. And then it's a method of taking a quadratic expression that's in standard form and writing it as the product of two factors. In this section, we will review several factoring techniques, GCF, factoring just a quadratic expression whose lead coefficient is 1, whose lead coefficient is not 1. These are a little bit tougher, and then these are kind of the shortcut deals. All right, I'm going to cover this over 2 days, as you can see. I'll probably maybe get down here today, so that'll be the most important stuff. And then tomorrow you will have just a kind of a quicker lesson. So looking at example 1, just factoring out the greatest common factor, also known as a GCF. So we recall if we see an expression like this that we can distribute, which means 2x times 3x would be 6x squared, and 2x times minus 5 would be minus 10x. Okay, so basically what we're going to do here is work backwards. So we're going to look at an expression like 6x squared minus 10x and say, what's my greatest common factor? It's 2x. Now I'm going to rewrite like that. Okay, that's kind of what we're doing. Nothing too complicated. Looking at A1, my GCF, that's kind of the first step. Identify it. GCF is going to be 7 because 7 goes into both of the kind of constants. And then you take your highest power of x, right? So even though that has an x squared, that has no x terms. So my GCF overall is 7. That's the only thing that goes into both terms. So we're going to rewrite this as 7 times the quantity x squared, because 7x squared over 7 is x squared, plus whatever 21 over 7 is, so plus 3. And I can tell I'm right because if I distribute, I get 7x squared plus 21, which is what we're looking for. All right, so I will leave A2 and maybe A4 for you. Let's look at A3. So on this one, looking at all my constant values, 4, 1, and 16, the GCF of those is just 1. And then my highest power of x is what I want, or sorry, my lowest power of x, so that'd be x. So just 1x, so just x. So factoring out an x, we're going to rewrite this one as x times the quantity, 4x squared. Because if I divide that by x, I get 4x squared plus x plus 16. And you can remember, you can always check by just distributing, see if you get the same thing. Okay, not too much there. Now we're going to get into the factoring part. So the next two examples are the really important ones. So let's go ahead and look at them. Remember, when you have a binomial times a binomial, you basically are distributing twice. So you distribute the x. So I'm distributing an x here. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is plus 3x. And then I distribute the minus 2. So minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Minus 2 times 3 is minus 6. And then we combine like terms to get x squared plus 1x or plus x minus 6. Okay, so in other words, this expression is equivalent to that. So when we're factoring, we want to go from here. what I just got you to back to there. All right, we want to unfoil it. All right, so just to review, and this is kind of helpful in seeing it, we are looking for, you did this in Algebra 1, we're looking for a combination of numbers that is going to multiply to -6 and add to +1. So that's how you kind of come up with the 3 and the -2. 3 and the -2. All right, so anyways, let's go ahead and do a few of these. And I'll probably leave you a few. All right, so this is the easiest type when you have a plus sign and a plus sign because everything's positive, right? So remember the thought process is what's going to multiply to give me 20. That means that's not an X, that's a multiplication symbol. Multiplies to 20, adds to 9. All right, so think about your factors of 20, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. All right, so it ends up being 4 and 5 because 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, so at that point, I know my answer is X plus 4 times X plus 5. All right, and obviously I could multiply those out. I could, FOIL that out, and I should see X squared plus 9X plus 20. Okay, let's do, I don't know, B2, one with a negative. Let's see, so again, we want something that multiplies to -72 but adds to 14. So I know if I'm multiplying to get a negative but adding to get a positive, right, I want one of my factors is going to be negative, one's going to be positive. So I know right off the bat that my answer is going to be X plus something times X minus something. That's kind of helpful to know that. And then we kind of just think about our factors of 72. So 72 and 1, we can't make that work. Let's see, 2 and that'd be 36. We can't make that work. Basically, we're looking for two of them that have a gap of 14. Let's see, does 3 go into 72? Yeah, it does. What would that be? 2, 4, so 3 and 24. That's too big of a gap. 4 goes into 72. How many times? Sorry, I should have all this ready. Let's see, 4 goes into 72. 1, 18, 18, and 4. That's going to be our winner right there. I can tell because they are 14 apart. Right, so then the decision is which one is positive and which one is negative. Since my middle term is positive, then that means that the 18, the bigger number, is going to be the positive one. So X plus 18 times X minus 4. Obviously, you wouldn't really want those underlined, so I'm going to clean that up. And I'm going to box in my answer. And I'm going to let you guys try B3 and B6. And you can find the answers for those in the notes, remember. All right, so last example I will probably cover on this video is one of these types. So this is where A is not equal to 1, okay? So anyways, just recall that we can multiply just like we did last time. So distribute the 2x, that's going to give me 2x squared. 2x times minus 5 is minus 10x. Then distribute the plus 3. 3 times x is plus 3x. 3 times minus 5 is minus 15. Altogether, that'd be 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Okay, so the thought process is a little tougher here. We're not thinking here what multiplies to -15 and adds to -7. What we are thinking is what multiplies to -15 times 2 is -30 and adds to -7. And that would be -10 and +3. Okay, so a little bit tougher thought process here. So I will say in the notes, I show how to solve these by what's called the Xbox method. But I'm not going to show that here because the book teaches it a different way. So when you do question help or something on Math Excel, you'll see them use factoring by grouping, it's very similar. But if you don't like what I'm showing here, you might want to check out the notes and watch a video over factoring with the Xbox method. That's just another approach. Doing this exact same math, but it's just laid out a different way. A lot of kids like this, especially in like Algebra 1. And you might have learned that way. I don't mind at all if you use the Xbox method, but I'll show these in a factoring by grouping kind of way. All right, so we want a combination of numbers that are going to multiply to 12 times 2. Let me see where I wrote that so I don't write over it. So multiplies to 12 times 2. So we're looking for multiplies to 24 and adds to 11, right? So thinking about my factors of 24, 1 and 24, that's not going to work. 2 and 12, that's not going to work. 8 and 3, that's going to be our winner. All right, so how do we use that then? All right, so basically what you want to do is we just are splitting this middle term into 8x plus 3x. So we're going to rewrite this expression as 2x squared. We didn't do anything with that. Order doesn't matter here, so we're just going to rewrite 11x as plus 8x plus 3x. Could have done it the other way around. That would have been just fine. And then the plus 12. So notice we haven't really changed the expression. We just kind of unsimplified it. But now what we have is something that can be factored by grouping, right? So you want to basically group your first two terms together and then your second two terms together, and you want to factor out a GCF, okay? And then we'll see what happens after that. So GCF here is going to be 2x. So we're going to go 2x times the quantity, that'd be x plus 4. And then out of these two, you could factor out a positive 3. And then that would leave you with x plus 4. Okay, now these two have got to match up. If that doesn't match up, you did something wrong. All right, so basically, then if we think about the distributive property, we can rewrite this. You always want to simplify at the end as 2x plus 3, the quantity 2x plus 3 times the quantity x plus 4. And that's how you kind of finalize your answer there. All right, so let's do one with some negative stuff in there. Let me see which one is going to be the best to do. Let's just do C2. I'm going to move this answer. And if you guys want to see C3 or C4 beyond the notes, if you want to see them in class, that'd be a good thing to ask. But we'll finish with C2, and I'll leave C3 and C4 for you guys to try. All right, so first things first, we want to see what multiplies to 4 times negative 3 would be negative 12, and adds to negative 4. All right, so on this one, we know if we have a negative at the end, we were looking for factors of 12 that have a gap of 4, right? So 12 and 1, not going to work. 6 and 2, that is going to work, right? So 6 and 2, if we want our sum to be negative, then we're going to let the 6 be the negative, right? So I'm going to split that middle term up as negative 6x plus 2x. All right, so let's see what that looks like. So we have 4x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 3. And now we just factor by grouping. Okay, so what can I take out of these first two terms? I can factor out a 2x. And then that's going to leave me with x minus 3. And then, let's see, what did I do? I did something wrong here, it looks like. Okay, yeah, I see what I did wrong. I factored it out wrong. I was like, that's not going to work. Maybe you caught my mistake. If you did, good for you. So when I factor out a 2x here, 4x squared over 2x is 2x. All right, already have the x. So 2x times 2x minus 3. And then these two don't have any common factors, so you're just factoring out a plus 1 there. And then, so you see we had that as matching factors. That's good news. We know we did it right at that point. So my final answer is going to be 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 3. And we'll see how that shows up when it pops up. If it doesn't show up, okay, I'll rewrite it. So there you go. And just a reminder before we go, you can always multiply back out to see if you have an equivalent expression. All right, so 2x times 2x, 4x squared. 2x times minus 3 would be minus 6x. Now distribute the 1. That's going to be plus 2x minus 3. Combine like terms, and we have 4x squared minus 4x minus 3, which you can see is the same as this right here. That basically just confirms our answer. Like I said, C3 and C4, I highly recommend you do those and then check them. All right, at the very least, check them on the filled out notes. And the filled out notes look a little bit different because I'm using the Xbox method. If you feel like you like that or understand that a little bit better, try to use that as your approach. And that's all I got. Hopefully this helps. I'll work out the last couple examples tomorrow. So you only have one assignment for 2 days of videos. Thanks for your time. And as always, hopefully this helps. You all have a nice day.